Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's been a long time since I posted. I'm going to address that in my next video. So for this one, we're filming a reading vlog and I'm going to get straight into it. So if you didn't already know, I am in my early 20s. I just finished university, some post-grad. Don't know what on earth I'm doing with my life. And I also have been going through like rocky mental health over the past couple of years. And one of the great fatal flaws of my life is that I've never ever read a Sally Rooney book. And her books are meant to be like the epitome of like the sad hot girl in her 20s who can't figure life out and is trying to and is doing a pretty bad job at it as she goes. And while I may not be hot, I'm definitely sad and in my 20s, so it's actually unacceptable. Last year I found Normal People in the charity shop, and then last week I found Conversation with Friends in the works actually, and it was only a couple of pounds, so I decided to pick that one up as well. So because I owned both of these books, really wanted to read them, really needed to read them, and I asked people on my Instagram what they thought I should read first. Literally about 87% of people said Normal People, so I chose to read Conversation with Friends. Basically, there were two reasons why I decided to ignore people's votes. Number one is that this book, like in publication order, came before Normal People. It made more sense in my mind to be reading Sally Rooney's like first work and see how her writings change and how these first books might have influenced the later books and whatever. As I was kind of like having this debate with myself, I noticed that the TV show for Conversation with Friends was airing on the 15th, a couple of days before I began this book, and I was just like, this is perfect timing. I'm definitely going to read Conversation with Friends and we'll get to Normal People eventually. This has all been lies, but I actually already read this book and I'm filming this at the end of that experience. But I did want to take you guys along on this journey with me. So all the clips that you're about to see are ones I have filmed in the past. I'm not faking the rest of this video. I did want to say another reason why I really wanted to read a Sally Rooney book is because back in January I read Exciting Times by Nisha Dolan, which whenever it's recommended is compared to Sally Rooney's writing style. Lots of the reviews of this book complain about, first of all, the plot being non-existent, which is the same for Sally Rooney books, so I don't know why people are complaining, and second of all, for the writing style not to be like Sally Rooney's. And I'm not sure about Normal People, but compared to like Conversations with Friends, writing style is very similar, so I reckon if you appreciate this kind of vibe, you'd appreciate this sort of vibe. I actually gave Exciting Times 4.5 stars, so I'll let future you figure out which one of these I prefer. You guys will see my opinions about it at the end of this video. But for now, let's get to reading past me. Sally Rooney is the blueprint. Everything else is secondary. I was going to pack Len Cohen. Can you tell I'm about to give up something? But this is a very book girl fan. Why can't you see? Yesterday evening was honestly like a nightmare. I was like really in like a happy reading mood. I just felt very content, that's what I will say. And I was annotating the book I was reading. I was like sitting on the couch with like a really nice setup and everything. I was really getting into the book finally, which is something I feel like I haven't been doing too much. And when I had dinner and then I went back to it, and as I was sitting there I put my black pen down, got distracted, came back downstairs, and I realised that the pen that I'd been annotating with had I put it down without a lid on. So the couch had this deep black stain, which we then attacked with like every possible like stain removal tool you can use. The stain just spread and my mum was not happy about it, and I was so upset about what I'd done because I felt so terrible about it. So I spent half an hour like literally scrubbing vanish into this couch. It was a nightmare, and I just immediately kind of sunk down into a mood that I don't want to be in. I was talking to my friend and I decided to call it quits early. I felt like a little bit tired, but then immediately as soon as like I said bye to her, I wasn't tired, so I was like, oh, I'll read for a bit, and then I just hit a chapter. This book is kind of very hard to handle in a way because what the people are doing is so questionable. It kind of unsettled me, so I watched some YouTube, and in YouTube the videos I was watching, they've mentioned the buffalo shooting. I looked up that, and that's just so difficult to understand how someone can be in like a mindset to cause that much harm and devastation to people. And it made me feel so down about just like the people in the world, and I started like psychoanalyzing myself for like completely disconnected reasons, but just like my whole mentality was just like heavy, and that's something I'm trying to avoid. So in a way this book I'm finding is quite triggering. The way that I'm kind of like my headspace is, I'm kind of translating that onto everything that I'm reading. So if something's like the tiniest bit heavy, then it can get me down. So that's where we're at with Conversations with Friends. I'm about 80 pages into it. Like I said, I was really enjoying it. I just don't think that reading it when I was feeling already a bit down from having done the thing with the couch was a very good idea. I've checked the couch this morning. My mum threw it in the washing machine last night. Not the couch, obviously. The cover, it looks like most of it's come out, so everything's fine. I just took things too personally, you know. This morning I got up, had a shower, we're doing like a refresh. I'm gonna read in a bit, but first I'm doing a bit of work. We're in a mode right now of getting our lives back on track. That's the plan. I said we're in the mode of getting our lives back on track, but I'm in the mode of getting my life on track for the first time. Stress. I mentioned Marianne. It's Marianne and Connell in Normal People. It wouldn't be the same Marianne. It must just be like a common name in Ireland. Maybe she just liked the name. Conversations with Friends last night, and I was so excited to be done with it because I didn't think I'd finish this early. So I was like, update as soon as I get up and ready in the morning and I can finish off the video. And I started feeling sick while I was reading it, kind of a bit earlier in the evening as well, but like mostly while I was reading it. I couldn't sleep for ages. This morning I woke up and I just felt like death. I have a temperature, it's not hugely high, but it's just, I haven't been sick since pre-COVID. I had the flu in February of 2020, just before COVID hit. I haven't even had any colds or anything, so this is just like, I don't really know, but I just feel dreadful. Which I'm sure is mostly the temperature. It's been several days since I finished Normal People. Normal People? No. No. Conversations with Friends. Many things have happened. First of all, I'm sick, as you will have known a little bit. And in my sick time, I decided to watch the beginning of the TV show adaptation. Please bear with me on the sickness thing because there's nothing I can do about it, but I want to finish the video. I've also cut my French because that needed to happen. Although, to be honest, I could do with a bit more. Everything's fine. So I just want to wrap up my thoughts before I ended the video. I finished Conversations with Friends 2 days ago, stayed up all night and read the last kind of like 80 pages of it, I'd say. Where do I begin? This is one of those situations where it's really hard to know what to rate the book, because in terms of the writing style, like the way that Sally Rooney kind of created these characters but then fleshed them out, it just feels so real. The way that she did that, and the kind of lack of the plot, but the plot in it just being like kind of mundane things that then you're kind of stuck inside people's heads while they're trying to figure out these complex relationships they have with other people, is why some people might say that it's boring, it's got no plot. It doesn't really have a plot, but it's very accurate to real life, because our real lives in a concentrated period of time are not, you know, mine personally, is not kind of following some crazy plot. On the whole, Sally Rooney's writing, because of how realistic it is like masterful. But this means that if I'm rating the book kind of objectively, it's like a 5-star basically, because of her kind of like handle of human emotion and how she conveys that. But if I'm rating this subjectively, I didn't love it, and that's kind of where it becomes tricky to rate it, because I think I was originally going to go with the 4 stars. Wow, 4 stars, and then I'd knock off the one, like the 5-star rating, just for my enjoyment level. Then I got to the last page of this book and there was kind of like a moment in the plot that kind of flipped around kind of the progress we've been making throughout the book. So my personal enjoyment level kind of plummeted. I literally was like, no, when it happened. In the last couple of chapters, I couldn't figure out any way that this story could have ended, and then the way it ended was just not it. I was tempted to just like, but then I had to be like respectful about how it's written, and how if I was in that situation realistically, not that I ever would be because I disagree with what these people are doing, but if I was them, then it would have made sense to act in the way that they acted at the end of the book. I'm really sidestepping around the spoilers. So I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars, which I think seems a very mediocre rating, but it's this combined thing, like I've been saying, of like objective rating and subjective rating. Whereas my subjective rating is kind of low, just because of the kind of complexities of the story in terms of actions that the characters make. I don't agree with, and it made me feel kind of uncomfortable and a little bit triggered to be reading about. And then objectively, it's a very well written novel, and I applaud Sally Rooney for her work, so I don't want to give it a poor rating because I think it deserves a higher rating if anything. So that's Conversation with Friends. A bit complicated. The TV shows I found is actually very accurate to the book. I think that Frances' character is absolutely spot on, exactly what I imagined. Melissa's slightly different, Nick is slightly different, but they work very well. And then Bobby, I'm really glad that they were in charge of casting and I wasn't in charge of casting, because I think that actress is absolutely perfect for her role. It's that ease that Bobby has from Frances' point of view, feeling like Bobby has her life together, not in like actually her life, but like her identity is complete in Frances' mind. And I think Bobby in the TV show really kind of like encompasses that. So I would definitely recommend the TV show if you read the book and you've enjoyed it, and vice versa. I had the same feeling as I had when I read Call Me By Your Name. You feel like you're inside the person's head, so it can feel a little overwhelming from time to time, only ever in a way that kind of is true to the human experience. That's kind of what I take away from this video. You're curious about whether you should read it or not, I say give it a go. Be aware of the trigger warnings. I'll list some of them down below, and you can look on other websites. I'm sure that it'll be everywhere because it's a very popular book, but go into it and see what you think, because it is very well written and I think you'd probably enjoy it. I will be reading Normal People. If you guys would like me to do a vlog on that, let me know. I'm happy to please. I also have a selection of books that I recently hauled, so I'm thinking of doing like individual reading vlogs of some of those as well, because I really do enjoy making them, and it also encourages me to read because I've read this book a lot quicker than I usually would have. That's actually one thing I'd like to say. I read like 200 pages of this book in 2 days, which is something that I can never ever do. Like I never read 100 pages a day, so to do that 2 days in a row was quite impressive, and part of that was me like putting the pressure on myself to get it finished so I could film a video for you guys, but also partly it was because I wanted to know what happened. So any book that kind of gets you to feel that involved in the story could be worth reading. You might find it entertaining. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna leave now.